in so many offenses.
Now, there are thousands in India today who believe in a saint to be a reincarnation of Lord Krishna. The reincarnation himself has never predicted that he is a reincarnation of Lord Krishna, but the devotees are predicting that he is a reincarnation. I would like to ask you whether it is true that the present saint whose teachings are basically from the Bhagavad Gita is a true incarnation of Lord Sri Krishna?
I don't know who you're speaking of. Could you first tell me?
He is Sri Satya Sai Baba, okay, known as Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba.
All right. As I mentioned earlier, the incarnation of God is mentioned. Krishna says, Jada yada hidanmasya ganir bhavati bharata avyutanam adanmasya tadatmanam sijamyaham. His appearance comes once in every day of Brahma. Once in every day of Brahma I have already described. Brahma lived for 1,000 times 4,320,000 years. And Krishna comes in the 28th millennium during that one day of Brahma. This is one day of Brahma, not the full lifetime. So Krishna came 5,000 years ago. So his next scheduled incarnation as Krishna will not be again for a very, very long time. However, in Srimad Bhagavatam, all the genuine incarnations of God are listed. The next incarnation listed after Lord Krishna is the incarnation of Buddha. Lord Buddha's place of appearance, Gaya, is mentioned. His father and mother's name is also mentioned, and his activities are also mentioned. After Lord Buddha, the next incarnation which is mentioned is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is described, Krishna Vana Tvisha Krishna Sango Pangashta Parshadam Yajnai Sankirtanai Prayer Yajantihi Sumedasha. In this Kali Yuga, the Lord will advent himself in a golden color, accompanied by his associates, and will dance and chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. The next incarnation after Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Kalki Avatar, who comes at the end of Kali Yuga in approximately 427,000 more years. Now, between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Kalki Avatar, no other incarnation is mentioned in Scripture. So this is one point, that the person who you have mentioned, at least, he's not mentioned anywhere in Scripture as his appearance. His father and mother are not mentioned, his place of birth are not mentioned, neither his activities. I'm just going to give you, this is the way you can understand who is an incarnation of God. You see, because anybody can call themselves an incarnation, or anybody can have others who may call themselves. But we have to know what the scientific or shastric method for recognizing the incarnation of God is. This is all I want to point out. First point is that in Shastras, there's no mention of this person coming. Second thing is, as I said to you, the incarnations of God have special physical markings on their bodies. For instance, you will know that Krishna had various markings on his lotus feet. He had the club, he had the disc, and various other different bodily markings by which to recognize him. So do every other incarnation. For example, in one of the incarnations of God known as Prithu Maharaj, as soon as he appeared, all the sages could immediately understand he was a genuine incarnation because of these bodily markings. However, the personality you have mentioned has never described and never has shown. I'm giving you various points by which you can understand who is an incarnation. The next way that you can understand a person is an incarnation of God is by his extraordinary activities. Extraordinary activities mean, for example, Krishna lifted Govardhan Hill for 7 days and 7 nights with one finger. Krishna, when he appeared here, was able to duplicate himself 16,000 times simultaneously and be present in the same different places simultaneously, you see. And this is another display of his opulence. Another point is that Krishna didn't use the words of someone else. He spoke Bhagavad Gita. He didn't quote somebody else. He spoke Bhagavad Gita. So he demonstrated his all-knowing aspect. So these are various ways that we can understand who is a genuine incarnation. You see. Bhagavan. What does Bhagavan mean? Bhagavan means who is the most beautiful. And everyone will accept that person as the most beautiful. not only a few thousand people or a few million people even. Everyone will realize his beauty. Therefore, Krishna is described as Madan Mohan. What does Madan Mohan mean? It means the bewilderer of Cupid. His beauty is so great that thousands, Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham, Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Thousands and hundreds of thousands of Cupids are swooning at the beauty of God. That's how beautiful he is. Not that his beauty is covered and only some people can recognize him. His strength is unlimited. Krishna is known as Bala, Balaram. Balaram is his brother. He's the expansion of Krishna. And he holds up in this form as Ananta Shesh all of the universes. This is Krishna. Simultaneously, he could defeat hundreds of thousands of soldiers. This is Lord Krishna. There's unlimited pastimes, if you've read Srimad Bhagavatam, of Lord Krishna. And who has accepted Krishna? All of the great acharyas have accepted him. Not some millions of people who don't know Shastra, but great acharyas have accepted him on the basis of Shastra. They could understand who is actually God and who is pretending to be God. It's clearly stated that Ramanujacharya, he worships Krishna. You may understand, he's the acharya of the Ramanuja Sampradaya. Madhvacharya, the acharya of Madhva Sampradaya, he worships Krishna. Vishnu Swami, he worships Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even Shankaracharya says, Bhaja Govinda, Bhaja Govinda. He worships Krishna. So this is not the speculation of someone. Brahma, Lord Brahma, the first person in the universe, says, Govindam Adi Purusham, Tamaham Bhajami. He's worshipping Krishna. All of the great demigods, they're worshipping Krishna. Now please tell me how it is that you can say that someone suddenly appears and because he's speaking some verses, it is amazing to me. Is there anywhere in the scriptures that his name, his father and mother's name, and the place of his birth is mentioned?
No, as far as, according to my knowledge, there is no mention about Sai Baba's name nor his parents.
Okay. Next question is, are there any markings on his feet or hands which indicate him to be an incarnation of God?
This is what I haven't personally witnessed, but there is a story about Sai Baba having some sort of marking.
Have you gone there? Yeah, so you've gone there. Have you seen any markings? I mean, I've seen pictures. Have you seen markings? That marking doesn't mean lines on the hands, sir.
I have not seen any markings, but I've seen certain miracles performed by him.
That's the next question I'm going to ask of you. That so far you've answered that you have, that's all right. So far you have answered that he's not mentioned so far that you know in Scripture. Neither he has any markings so far you know on his body to indicate him as an incarnate. The next thing, as I mentioned, is by his wonderful activities. So now you are about to tell us some of the miracles which he has performed. So you can describe some of these miracles which make him the supreme God. Please tell us.
Well, I have seen certain miracles performed by Sai Baba in India.
Yes,
I have witnessed it with my own eyes. Miracles which have cured people with different types of diseases, particularly for one like cancer. Also that he has materialized certain articles, like certain objects.
Like what?
Religious photographs.
Religious photograph.
Yes, small statues of Lord Shiva, Lord Ganesha, right? And sacred ashes by the wave of his hand. Just a mere wave of his hand, he has ashes, sacred ashes, and he gives it to devotees. This is what I have personally witnessed.
So the first miracle that you mentioned is that he has cured people of cancer. Now, I would like to know how many cancer patients have also been cured in hospitals. Is there anyone who ever suffered from cancer who was cured by someone else besides the person you're mentioning? In other words, if there's any doctor who by his treatment has cured patients of cancer, then according to you, that doctor can be called Bhagavan. That's the first point. Whether he does it by his hand or whether he does it by an instrument, I don't think it makes much difference. The real point is that the person got cured of cancer. So now, this means that anyone who can cure someone of cancer is God. This is one of your miraculous statements. Another miraculous statement is that he manufactures pictures and deities within his hand. Now, I would like to point out to you that these same pictures and deities are available in any shop, in any holy place in India. Now, my point again is that what is the value of the miracle? You see, I'll even accept, let us say that we accept that he did manufacture those things in his hand. How valuable is that miracle? In other words, that miracle is as valuable as the value of the picture or murti. Because the same picture or murti happens to be available in a shop, in a holy place, for 10 rupees or 100 rupees. No. Just like gold, for example. I know so many miracles which he is said to have performed. He's said to have shown gold, manufactured gold. How much gold? How much gold? 10,000 bricks of gold? Then it's valuable. But a little lump of gold, I can go to a jeweler's shop and purchase it, sir. If that's all you have to do to become God, well, it's very easy. There must be lots of gods going around the world. Now, I want to point out that my Gurudev, my spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, was asked by some people in India, please, Swamiji, show us some miracles. So he said, I'm showing you a miracle. I'm showing you these boys and girls who were formerly addicted to the most sinful habits in the world. And they have completely given them up and dedicated themselves 100% to the service of Krishna. Now you decide, which is the more valuable miracle? To make someone a devotee of God, or to give someone some ashes? Which is worth more? I can light a fire here and create heaps of ashes. That doesn't make me God. What difference does it make whether it comes out of my hand or it comes from a match? Ashes are ashes. The value of it is ashes. But God is the controller of everything. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate. He has created all the planets and all of the worlds. This is God. Aham bija prapita. He's the seed-giving father of everyone. And he knows the mind of everyone. You should go in front of this person. Let everyone go in front and say, please tell me exactly what's on my mind. He can't do it. I'll guarantee you he won't know what's on my mind. Because he doesn't have that power. Only the Paramatma. Only Paramatma has that power. I say to you, sir, that don't take someone as God just by some cheap miracle. I say cheap because it can be done by anyone who has materialistic powers. You should understand, this is called siddhi, yoga siddhi. Yoga siddhi means mystic perfection. There are 8 mystic perfections, and one of them is prapti siddhi. Prapti siddhi means that you can manufacture anything at your own desire. You can bring anything or acquire anything from anywhere at your own will. This is prapti siddhi. Every yogi has this siddhi. There's one planet known as Siddhaloka. All the residents of that planet have all of these cities. Not just that, they have Lagrima city. They can walk on the sun beams up to the sun planet. That's another one of their cities. They can make themselves lighter than the lightest, heavier than the heaviest. They can create an entire universe. And simply because someone manufactures some little ashes on the ground, you bow down and say, you must be God. Try to understand from Shastra. Don't understand. Your senses are not perfect, sir. This is the nature of material life. The senses are imperfect. There's mistakes, there's illusion, and there's a tendency to become cheated. This is 4 defects of conditioned life in Kali Yuga. The senses are not perfect. There is a tendency to make mistakes. Everyone is subject to illusion, and there's a propensity to be cheated and to cheat others. So I have to say to you, sir, that as long as you depend upon your own conditioned intelligence, you're subject to these 4 defects, and therefore you're making a mistake. But if you are Shastra Chaksu, if you see with the eyes of Shastra or Scripture, you'll make no such mistake. Therefore, when I answer your questions, I don't say, well, I never saw it. It doesn't matter whether I saw these miracles or not. When I hear them, I know this is not God. I understand from Shastra, from Vedas, what God is. Even from Bible, from Quran, from Torah, you can understand who God is. You'll never find anyone in the Bible, in the Quran, in the Torah, or the Bhagavad Gita who manufactures some actions and is worshipped by people as God. You've got to do a lot more than that. Jesus Christ spoke the teachings of the New Testament. Lord Krishna spoke the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. Now what teachings new has this person spoken? Why doesn't he speak some new teachings? Why he has to depend upon the real God for his teachings? If he's God, let him make his own teachings up. But someone who's not God, he has to depend upon others for the teachings. Therefore, he's not God, and he should only be understood to be that way. I don't say I'm God. I never would say such a thing. I don't even say I'm the servant of God. I'm just trying to be the servant of my spiritual master, my Guru Maharaj. That's all I want to be. This is my dog head. I'm the dog of my Guru. I don't call myself God. And no one else calls me God. No genuine Guru ever called himself God. Or let any disciple call himself God. That's a genuine Guru. I'm amazed to see how people can accept someone as God simply for some little magic show. So what if he got cured from cancer? Did he stop him from dying? Then you can say he's Krishna. Because Krishna is known as Mukunda, the giver of liberation. Cancer can be cured by any material means. And so can a deity be made. Anyone can make a murti. You just get some metal and pour it in a mold and produce it with some fire, and you can make a murti also. And you can paint pictures. And you can light a fire and get plenty of ashes. But that doesn't make you God. Don't take God so cheaply. God is loitering in the street. Today there's one incarnation. Tomorrow there'll be 100 incarnations. If there's so many incarnations or he's an incarnation of God, then you answer this question. Why is there so much irreligion all over the world? When Krishna was present on this planet, he destroyed irreligion. There was no irreligion because he killed all the irreligious elements. But I say that every single day in the reign of this new God that you are mentioning, irreligion is increasing more and more and more. Then how you can call him God? God comes to destroy irreligion. Yada yada hi dharmasya. Glaniya bhavati bharata. Abhyutanama dharmasya. Tadatmanam sijamyaham. He says, I come to restore religion. But I see irreligion increasing. So how you say he's God? If he's God, why isn't his power destroying all irreligious elements? Instead, he has some millions of people who are bowing down. The blind following the blind. Now your teacher says that he is God, but then why does he sing Krishna bhajans? That means he admits that Krishna is the real God. If he says that he's God, he should sing his own bhajans, but he's singing Krishna bhajan. That means Krishna is actually God. Now how to worship Krishna, that you'll have to learn from the Hare Krishna movement, because this is the standard movement for teaching how to worship Krishna. We don't have a bunch of followers who worship this God and this Guru and that Guru. Our devotees of the Hare Krishna movement are very clear about who is God. Therefore, they only worship Krishna. They don't follow a little teaching from here and a little teaching from there. This is simply a big hodgepodge. You have so many gods, so many gurus. Utpat. Big hodgepodge of different types of worship. This means many roads, taking so many paths and getting nowhere. We will take one path, straight back to home, back to Godhead. That is our philosophy.
I think if the society continues to expose those cults and the leaders of the cults, it could, in a way, make people realize that they are not supposed to follow blindly those what you call charismatic leaders or spiritual leaders.
I would only like to state that since I have been a devotee of Lord Krishna ever since my mother was a devotee, I will still be a devotee of Lord Krishna until I live, And I think in my own conscience, there is nothing wrong in being not a devotee of Sai Baba, but be a believer in his teachings.
Now you say that you worship Krishna as well as Sai Baba, and that you've worshipped Krishna since childhood. But one thing you should understand, that when you worship Krishna, then you don't worship anybody else. Because Shri Krishna says, Sarvadhamam parityaja, mame kam saranam braja. He says you give up the worship of everyone else and everything else, and you simply worship him. Being a devotee of Krishna is not such a cheap thing that you can worship Krishna, worship this God, worship that God, or this guru and that guru. You make up your mind.
Now, I do thank you once again for giving me the right answer and explaining to me. As I have said, that I have never said in my conversation that I also had believed in Sai Baba to be a true incarnation of Lord Krishna. But as I have said, that there are thousands who believe in him as a true incarnation of Lord Krishna. This is what my question was. Now, you have given me the right answer, and I thank you once again for explaining to me in detail.
The question I'm directing is to the questioner who just recently questioned you. He is holding the position of secretary of the Satya Sai organization over here, and as such, I think if he has accepted your explanation, he got to resign or leave the organization.
Mr. Singh, my request to you tonight is this, that you've been a devotee of Sai Baba for some time. How long, please? How long? How long has that been? How long? How many years? How many years? Okay. You've been a devotee of Sai Baba for 8 years. Now my request is this. I request you to become a staunch devotee of Lord Krishna, not for 8 years, not for 8 years, for 8 months. 8 months. And during that time, I request you that you follow the principles taught by Lord Krishna. That means you don't eat meat, fish, or eggs, you don't gamble, you don't take any intoxication, and no illicit sex. And every day you chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Japa. Now if you will do this for 8 months, I say that you will get more blessings, more mercy, more knowledge in those 8 months that you will get in 800 years from the present type of worship that you're doing. And the only way that you'll know if I'm right or not is by trying it. And furthermore, I would like to tell you that if you do what I'm saying and you don't find that you get more mercy, more blessings, and more knowledge in those 8 months, then I stand on record that I will give you a check for $10,000. And I'm making this public declaration here, that I will give you a check personally for $10,000 if after 8 months of worship of Krishna, you don't find yourself improved in every respect from your present mode of worship.
But to answer your question is to be Lord Krishna's devotee for 8 months only. I think I would only like to say that the basic principles which you have just said, that to fast on certain intervals and on certain items, I think I would try on that and see the difference then.